In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to familiarize yourself with what you will be seeing commonly when you start up Excel. Now at the top you will see the file name with a hyphen and then Excel next to it. Once you save the file, this will change right here. It will no longer say book 1 but rather whatever you save it as. So I guess if you save it as book 1 it won't change. And then if you look at the top left, it'll have a little Excel icon which you can click to just kind of resize the window here or close it completely. And if there is a shortcut, it will appear under one of the menus like this, or by simply hovering over the icon. These icons do the same as the buttons that are located throughout the tabs and ribbons here. So if I click on data, you can see that these two icons match the two up here. Then you can add or remove icons by clicking on the line with the down triangle, and it should pop up with Customize Quick Access Toolbar, and you'll see all the options you can mess around with. And over here you'll see a little question mark, which if you open it up or click F1, you'll see that it brings up a nice little window that basically shows you how to use the program. And if you click Browse More Articles, it has basic use and discovering Excel. I will not really be following this guide, but if you want Microsoft's original documents on how I learned this stuff, this is basically where it's all located. And next to that is the ribbons, how they will function on your screen, whether they'll disappear or just sit there all the time. You could have them auto hide so that it's gone completely. Now if your screen looks like this, you're probably thinking, uh-oh, how do I fix that? You just have to click on the three little dots and it will return. If you click on show tabs only, this is what happens if you accidentally click on the upper looking triangle thing here in the bottom right of the ribbon, and it shows you the shortcut is Control F1. So if you accidentally press that key and your ribbon disappears, just by clicking on the ribbon and pressing the pin at that same location is how you would bring that back, or by clicking on this up arrow in the window and show tabs and commands would be also how you could get that back. So now these up here are called the tabs, and they bring up the ribbons that are located here, which are sectioned off fairly nice. As you can see, it has clipboard, font, alignment, all that nice stuff. And if you click there, it will open up a larger tool based on that. So you can see sometimes it'll bring up something on the side, sometimes it'll bring up a window. Each tool is different, but most of them will bring up a window and have a lot better idea of what you're doing rather than just clicking on buttons that sometimes don't even have words. You just kind of either have to hover over it and wait for the tooltip to pop up, or click it and find out what it does. But we'll be going through most of these tools in these videos. If you have anything specific you want to learn, just feel free to shoot me an email and I will be more than happy to answer your question. So we have gone through what's up here and working our way down. I'm going to skip the ribbons since they have a lot of tools and those need to be covered separately. Starting over here, it'll tell you what cell you're clicking on currently. So I am in A1. You can see the A is highlighted, the 1 is highlighted. When I click on B2, it changes right there. This is a formula bar. It shows you basically what you're going to have in the cell, and if you're writing an equation, make sure that you have the equal sign before your equation. And again, if you click on that FX thing, it pops up this window which gives you a bunch of functions here. These are just under the category most recently used. This is all of them. I can't make this window bigger, I'm sorry, so you're just gonna have to get an idea that there is a lot of functions that are built into Excel. So don't think that you have to write some crazy equations, because someone probably already did it and made it a default function in Excel. So again, I'm just kind of scrolling through this list, and you can see it is very extensive. Again, if you're looking for something, someone else probably wrote it for Excel. And again, if you have a really long cell or a really large cell with a formula, that just creates a small number, so on your document you'll have the small number, but in the formula bar you'll have something really long. Clicking on that little arrow right there will make it bigger so that you can see all of what you're doing instead of just sometimes one line of a little tidbit of a multi-line function. So now again, just kind of working our way down, you could scroll down with this right here, the vertical bar, and there is a horizontal bar located down here. You'll see it says sheet 1 right here. By default you should only have one sheet. If you have multiple sheets, make sure you're keeping track of what's on each sheet. And if it lets me, I will click on the little plus thing to add a sheet. There we go. So if you were watching what was happening, I forgot to click off of the formula bar up here, so I was editing a cell and trying to add a new sheet at the same time, which Excel did not appreciate and would not let me do. So your sheet down here will be highlighted in green, and if you want to add more sheets, you can feel free to do so. And now if you delete a sheet and then add another one back, it will just push it up to the next one. So as you can see, I created sheet 1, then sheet 2, then sheet 3, deleted sheet 2, clicked on sheet 3, added sheet 4, and then when I clicked on sheet 1 and added another sheet, it put sheet 5 right here. If you want to move it so that it makes more sense to you, you can, but that was just to kind of show you it doesn't have to follow a numerical order down here, and you can of course rename these sheets whatever you want, and you can delete them, move them, all that nice stuff. We can go into that another time though. That was just to show you that there are multiple sheets in a workbook, and that may get a little bit confusing, but we can go into that later on. And down here it'll say if it's ready or busy. If you're asking Excel to do large calculations and stuff like that, that will probably say busy down there. And then if you have any data, so I'm just going to enter 1 and then 2, highlight those two cells. It'll tell me I highlighted 2 cells, the average of them is 1.5 and the sum of them is 3. There's just 2 numbers, so some easy math could confirm that that is correct. And once you delete the contents of those cells, those numbers disappear. Now next to where those numbers were, you'll see 3 different icon looking things, and if you hover over them, it'll tell you that there are 3 different view styles of Excel. The first one being the default, the second one being page preview, which again you can see it adds rulers, headers, and margins on your page to kind of give you an idea of how your spreadsheet's going to look when you go to print this thing. Now if you don't want a specific view like that, but rather something where the page breaks are, you would have this view, and since I don't have any information, it didn't pop up with anything, but now that I add something, it shows you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if you scroll all the way in, you could see that it says page 1 over here. So again, these are the 2 that really show you how it's going to print. And then now when I click back on this, because I started looking at the print preview stuff, I suppose it put in these dotted lines, which just kind of give you an idea of where the page is going to end. So if I scroll down here, I see that I-47 by default is going to be the last cell that prints on an 8.5 by 11 page. Now anything on this side of the line will print on page 2, and anything below will print on page 3. But again, if you keep going horizontally, this would be page 3, and then this would be page 4, and so on and so forth. And then next to those 3 tools is the zoom bar. Now you can either click on this bar to zoom all the way in, all the way out, whatever you want to do, or you can hold the control button and scroll your mouse wheel up and down, up to zoom in, down to zoom out. And I kind of skipped this part, but if you look over here, it says my name, and then if you click on switch account, you can actually add another account, which I'm not going to do, just to show you that it's pretty easy to change who is signing the document, because when I click on file, it does say my name here as an author, as well as some other information. Okay, so this should help you familiarize yourself with what you will see when you first open Excel. Hope you've enjoyed the video.